You're sitting there, staring at your phone, your mind racing. A thought pops up, I'm not good enough. It stings, doesn't it? Then another. What if I fail? What if I'm stuck forever? Your chest tightens, your breath gets shallow. It feels like you're drowning in a sea of noise. Your own thoughts, relentless, loud, suffocating. But what if I told you that you don't have to believe every thought that crosses your mind? What if I told you that you are not your thoughts? Welcome to the Daily Stoic Mindset, where we explore the timeless wisdom of Stoicism to find resilience, wisdom, and inner peace. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most liberating ideas Stoicism offers, the ability to find distance from the noise in your head, to step back from the chaos of your thoughts, and to discover a quieter, stronger version of yourself. Stick with me because this idea could change the way you live your life. Let me start with a story. A few years ago, I was in a dark place. I'd just lost a job I loved. Bills were piling up and my inbox was full of rejections. Every morning, I'd wake up to the same thought. You're a failure. You've let everyone down. It wasn't just a passing thought. It felt like the truth. It felt like me. I'd carry it around all day, letting it color every decision, every interaction. I stopped calling friends because I didn't want them to see me like this. I stopped trying because, well, what was the point? I was my thoughts, and my thoughts told me I was worthless. Maybe you've been there too. Maybe you're there right now. A breakup, a bad day at work, a moment of self-doubt. It doesn't take much for the mind to spiral, for those thoughts to feel like they're defining you. But then I stumbled across a quote from Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, that stopped me in my tracks. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. At first I didn't get it. Power over my mind. My mind felt like a runaway train. But the more I sat with it, the more I realized what he meant. My thoughts weren't me. They were just things happening. In my head, they were like clouds passing through the sky, not the sky itself. And if they weren't me, then I didn't have to let them control me. I could choose which ones to listen to, which ones to let go. That realization was like a lifeline. It didn't fix everything overnight, but it gave me a way to climb out of the hole. It gave me distance from the noise. Why does this matter? Because we live in a world that's louder than ever. Social media, 24/7 news, endless notifications. It's like the volume knob on life is cranked to 11. And the loudest noise of all? It's in your head. The average person has about 60,000 thoughts a day, and studies show most of them are negative or repetitive. That's a lot of noise to deal with. For Americans, especially those of us between 25 and 55, life can feel like a pressure cooker. You're juggling careers, relationships, maybe kids, maybe debt, maybe dreams you're scared you'll never reach. And your mind? It's not always your friend. It's whispering that you're behind, that you're not enough, that you should be doing more. But Stoicism teaches us that we don't have to be prisoners to those thoughts. We can learn to step back, to observe them without getting swept away. And when we do, we find something precious: peace. Let's pause for a second. I want you to try something. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and notice the next thought that pops into your head. Don't judge it, don't fight it, just notice it. Maybe it's, I don't have time for this. Maybe it's, this is silly. Whatever it is, let it float by like a leaf on a stream. That's the first step to finding distance from the noise. It's not about stopping your thoughts, that's impossible. It's about realizing they're not you, they're just visitors passing through. And you get to decide which ones get to stay. That's the power Stoicism offers, and it's what we're going to unpack today. So, grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive into the heart of this idea, because it's not just philosophy. It's a way to live better, starting right now. Now let's get into the core of this idea, how Stoicism teaches us to find distance from our thoughts and why that's so powerful. The Stoics, Philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus lived in a world that wasn't so different from ours. They dealt with stress, loss, ambition, and uncertainty. They didn't have smartphones or social media, but they had their own noise, political intrigue, war, exile, even death sentences. Yet they found a way to stay calm, focused, and free. Their secret: they understood that the mind is a battleground, and the real fight isn't with the world, it's with how we respond to it. Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher, put it best: it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Think about that. Your boss snaps at you, your car breaks down, someone cuts you off in traffic. Those things happen outside you. But the anger, the frustration, the story you tell yourself about how unfair it all is, that's inside you. That's your thoughts. And here's the kicker: you don't have to buy into them. The Stoics believe that our thoughts are judgments we make about the world, and we can choose to question those judgments. When you feel overwhelmed, it's not the situation, it's the thought you're attaching to it. This is too much. I can't handle it. But what if you step back and said, this is just a thought. I don't have to believe it. That's where the distance comes in. Let's break this down with a practical example. Imagine you're stuck in traffic, late for a meeting. Your mind starts spinning. I'm going to get fired. I'm such an idiot for not leaving earlier. Everyone's going to think I'm unreliable. Your heart's racing, your palms are sweaty. It feels like a crisis. Now, let's apply a Stoic technique called cognitive distancing. Step 1. Notice the thought. I'm thinking I'm going to get fired. Step 2. Label it as a thought, not a fact. This is just a thought. It's not necessarily true. Step 3. Ask yourself, is this thought helpful? Is it in my control? Getting fired, not fully in your control. Leaving earlier next time, that's in your control. So instead of spiraling, you shift your focus. I'll call ahead, explain, and plan better next time. Suddenly the traffic's still there, but the noise in your head is quieter. You're not your thoughts, you're the one observing them. Seneca, another Stoic heavyweight, had a lot to say about this. He wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." How many times have you lost sleep over something that never even happened? You imagine a fight with your partner, a bad performance review, a future where everything goes wrong. But those are just thoughts, not reality. Seneca's advice: practice premeditatio malorum, preparing for the worst in your mind, not to dwell on it, but to take away its power. Before bed, I like to sit for 5 minutes and think, what's the worst that could happen tomorrow? Maybe I mess up a project, maybe I argue with a friend. Then I ask, can I handle it? The answer is always yes, because I'm not my thoughts. I'm the person who decides what to do with them. This practice doesn't stop bad things from happening, but it stops the noise from running my life. Marcus Aurelius took this even further. In his Meditations, he wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Let's unpack that. Say you post something on social media and get a nasty comment. Your first thought might be, they're right, I'm a fraud. That thought hurts. But Marcus is saying, the pain isn't from the comment, it's from the thought you attach to it. You can revoke that thought. You can say, this is just one person's opinion. It doesn't define me. That's not easy, especially when emotions are high. But it's possible with practice. The Stoics weren't about suppressing emotions, they were about understanding them. They taught that emotions come from thoughts, and thoughts can be challenged. So how do you actually do this in daily life? Let's talk about 3 Stoic practices you can start today. First, journaling. Marcus Aurelius didn't write meditations for anyone else. It was his personal journal. Every night, he'd reflect on his day, his thoughts, his reactions. Try this. At the end of your day, grab a notebook and write down one thought that bothered you. Maybe it's I'm not keeping up at work. Then write, "This is a thought, not a fact." Ask, "What's in my control here?" Maybe it's asking for help or managing your time better. This simple act creates distance. It's like putting your thoughts on paper so you can see them for what they are, just words, not truth. Second, practice the view from above. This is a Stoic visualization where you imagine zooming out from your life, seeing yourself as a tiny speck in the vast universe. Sounds trippy, but it works. When I'm stressed, I close my eyes and picture myself from above. First in my room, then my city, then the planet, then the galaxy. Suddenly, my missed deadline or that awkward conversation doesn't feel so big. Marcus used this to remind himself that most of what we worry about is fleeting. Your thoughts, they're even smaller than that. They're not you, they're just noise. Third, use the dichotomy of control. Epictetus said, "Some things are up to us and some things are not." When a thought hits you, like "I'm not good enough," ask, "Is this in my control?" Your self-worth, that's in your control. Other people's opinions, not in your control. Focus on what you can change, your actions, your effort, your perspective. This cuts through the noise like a knife. I use this when I'm anxious about a big presentation. Instead of thinking, "What if they hate it?" I focus on, "I can prepare well, I can speak clearly." The rest? It's not mine to carry. Let's make this real with another example. Say you're going through a breakup. Your mind's screaming, "I'll never find someone else. I'm unlovable." Those thoughts feel like facts, don't they? But let's apply Stoicism. First, notice the thought, "I'm thinking I'm unlovable." Label it, "This is a thought, not reality." Question it, "Is this helpful? Is it true? Maybe you're hurting but unlovable?" That's a story, not a fact. Then focus on what's in your control. Taking care of yourself, learning from the relationship, moving forward. Seneca would remind you that the pain is real, but the story you're telling yourself is optional. You're not your thoughts. You're the one who gets to rewrite the story. This isn't just for big moments. It's for the small ones too. The co-worker who annoys you, the long line at the grocery store, the voice in your head that says you're not doing enough. Every day, you're bombarded with thoughts, and Stoicism gives you a shield. It's not about being perfect, it's about progress. The more you practice, the easier it gets to step back, to see your thoughts for what they are, temporary, optional, and not you. One last Stoic gem before we wrap up this section. Epictetus said, "You become what you give your attention to." If you give your attention to negative thoughts, you'll feel negative. If you give it to thoughts of gratitude, resilience, and purpose, you'll feel those instead. This isn't about ignoring reality, it's about choosing where to focus. When I was struggling after losing my job, I started a gratitude practice. Every morning, I'd write down 3 things I was thankful for, no matter how small. My coffee, a sunny day, a kind text from a friend. It didn't erase the noise, but it turned down the volume. It reminded me that I wasn't my thoughts. I was the one choosing what to amplify. As we move toward the end, I want you to hold on to this. Finding distance from your thoughts isn't about escaping them. It's about reclaiming your power. It's about realizing that you are not the noise in your head. You are the quiet beneath it. The Stoics didn't promise a life without pain or problems. They promised a life where you can face those things with clarity and strength. And that starts with understanding that your thoughts are not you. So here we are. You've heard the stories, the quotes, the practices. You've got the tools to find distance from the noise. But knowledge isn't enough. It's what you do with it that matters. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy to read about. It's a way to live. It's a path to resilience, wisdom, and inner peace, no matter what life throws at you. Let's close with a reflection and a call to action, because this is where the real work begins. Think back to that moment I described at the start, when your mind was racing, when your thoughts felt like chains. Now imagine a different version of that moment. You're still in traffic, or you're still facing that rejection, or you're still hearing that voice say, "You're not enough." But this time, you pause. You take a breath. You say to yourself, "This is just a thought. I don't have to believe it." You feel the noise, but you don't let it own you. You focus on what's in your control, your next step, your next choice. You feel lighter, don't you? Stronger. That's the gift of Stoicism. That's the gift of realizing you are not your thoughts. I want to leave you with one final quote from Marcus Aurelius. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Not the quantity, not the loudness, but the quality. You get to choose which thoughts to nurture, which ones to let go. And when you do, you'll find something beautiful, a quiet strength that's been inside you all along. It's not about silencing the noise, it's about rising above it. It's about becoming the person you were meant to be, not the one your thoughts try to define. So here's your challenge. This week, try one of the practices we talked about. Journal for 5 minutes each night, noticing your thoughts without judgment. Try the view from above when you're stressed, zooming out to see the bigger picture. Or use the dichotomy of control, focusing only on what's up to you. Start small, but start. Because every time you practice, you're building a muscle. You're teaching yourself that you are not your thoughts. You are the one who decides what matters. And if you're feeling stuck, come back to this channel. The Daily Stoic Mindset is here to guide you with practical wisdom for modern life. Subscribe, hit the bell, and join our community of people striving to live with resilience and peace. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, because we all have noise, and we all deserve to find distance from it. Let's keep walking this path together. Until next time, stay stoic, stay strong, and remember, you are not your thoughts. This is the Daily Stoic Mindset, signing off.